What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel. This is NAKAT, and today I am here with my good friend Cosmos. How you doing, brother?
What's going on? I'm chilling, always doing my thing.
Absolutely. And so you guys saw one of the first Zenless videos I put up was actually a response to Cosmos's long form skit, which I really enjoyed, by the way. Despite how y'all feel about it, I thought the video was funny. I liked it, but it got people talking, of course. And something I noticed is that the Zenless Zone Zero community and the Wuthering Waves community pretty much are at each other's necks 24/7, and you've been in the space way longer than I have. So why do you think that's the case?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't even say that the Zenless Zone Zero community is like the Wuthering Waves and the Zenless community are at each other's necks.
Okay. It's
honestly just the Zenless Zone Zero community is at the necks of some of the creators in Wuthering Waves.
Okay,
like
why is that?
The community themselves aren't really from my experience at least. The community themselves aren't really fighting each other, but there is definitely, like, we were talking about it at some point. Like, I feel like everybody knows, because everybody knows Saint Tontas, the Wuthering Waves. He's like the biggest Wuthering Waves creator.
Sure.
And it's like essentially he's always rage baiting the Zenless Zone Zero community with like everything that he's saying. And like the thing is, like, I don't think everything he's saying is wrong, but I feel like he knows that everything that he's saying is gonna make the community upset, but he does it anyway.
So do you think it's rage baiting, or do you think he actually means what he's saying?
I don't think it's rage baiting, but I feel like it's rage baiting in the sense that he knows it's gonna make them upset, but he's still saying what he really feels about Zenless Zone Zero, because he's been a player of Zenless Zone Zero since like launch. Okay. He actually plays the game. He's like cleared all the content and everything. At least from my experience, like I watch his stream like every now and then. I see him hopping from Wuthering Waves to Zenless Zone Zero whenever there's a new patch and he tries to clear the content, and he usually does.
Yeah.
So he does play the game, but he just doesn't like the game as much. So whenever he says anything about the game, first of all, the Zenless Zone Zero community doesn't like anything he says about the game. Whether it's good or bad, they just don't like anything that he says.
They might just not like him.
Yeah, they just don't like him.
You know
period.
what? I can't actually even say like, oh yeah, well you guys shouldn't feel that way. Obviously, if someone is shitting on something you love constantly, right, it's going to at some point get aggravating. Like even me, right? In my video, I was like, honestly, we should put most of our attention to propping up the game and making people understand why we love it, instead of giving attention, not even to just him. I don't really care about that guy. Just not really give attention to anybody that's just constantly shitting on the game or doesn't like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. Feel like time better spent is going after, or not even going after people, but just really trying to shine the game to people that may not have played it before, right? Or are kind of like iffy on it and on the edge, etc., etc. So
the thing is, like, yeah. I see where he's coming from though, because as somebody who played Genshin Impact and stopped playing Genshin Impact to play Wuthering Waves.
Okay.
Well, I stopped playing Genshin Impact for like years. Then I went to Wuthering Waves, and I was like, this is essentially what I wanted Genshin Impact to become. I can understand where he's coming from, because he played Zenless Zone Zero. Obviously, Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero came out like around the same time. Okay. So he was essentially like, they weren't really at war with each other, but they were definitely compared with each other because they came out around the same time.
And I think it's fair to compare those games because they came out at the same time, but I also think it's foolish to, I guess, expect Zenless to, I don't know, be what people wanted Genshin to be, because it feels like Hoyo just straight up said, yo, Genshin fills this role, Honkai fills this, yeah, we're gonna have more of like this arcade style game now. Yeah. We're gonna do that thing, right? So it's like, sure, you could, I think at the end of the day, right, it's like with platform fighters. If you make a platform fighter, it's getting compared to Smash no matter what. Exactly, yeah. And because Genshin was that first game
during COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Even then, right? And so since Genshin pretty much propelled the genre forward, I think anything that comes out will just get compared to Genshin, even if it's not trying to be a Genshin. Yeah, and like, that's how I feel about Zenless. It's not trying to be a Genshin.
Yeah, and I literally made a video about that. It's like, no matter what, any game that comes out, which is okay, any game that comes out is always going to be called a Genshin clone in the beginning. Yes. Because if it's an anime game, an anime styled game, especially if it's open world, but even if it's not open world,
it'll get compared.
It'll be called a Genshin, like the next Genshin killer, even though it's like, nothing's gonna kill
this. Sounds just like Smash.
But like pretty much what I was getting into was I understand where he's coming from, because since they came out around the same time, from the perspective of him and me too, as somebody who I didn't play Zenless Zone Zero as much as he did. I still played the game, and I watch a lot of content, so I watch a lot of people play.
I was about to say, how far you got?
I haven't gotten that far at all, but to me, like I experience playing games through watching people play. So I watch a lot. I watch a lot of content, a lot of different people play the game, and I honestly haven't even played Wuthering Waves that much. Like Hack, the person that I do skits with, he literally started.
I was like, why are you telling me that? I was like, hold up, man. Obviously, I know, but it's like, nah, the people who might not know.
Like, I told him to start playing the game like a few months ago, and he got ahead of me in a few months because I haven't been playing the game that much. Because typically, how I enjoy games is I play a little bit and I keep up with it through like doing some content in the game, then watching other people.
He was always mashing the skip button too, right?
He was.
My man skipping.
He stopped. He stopped.
Oh, he stopped skipping?
He stopped skipping. He stopped skipping the story. But yeah, he literally made a video about himself, and that made me mad. But
oh shit.
Yeah, I experienced so what I'm trying to say is that I experienced through watching people play the game. So I'm very experienced in both games knowledgeably. And to know that they both came out around the same time.
Sure. And
from my experience and probably his experience too, Zenless Zone Zero at the start wasn't the best. Combat-wise, it was great, but obviously the scenario
people didn't like the TV mode.
That's the only thing that was wrong with it from my experience in the launch of the game.
I was very indifferent about TV mode. I actually thought this is kind of charming, but it felt like the real meat and potatoes of Zenless was the combat. The combat,
and that's what pissed me off.
Addictive.
Because that's what they advertised. I swear they didn't even advertise the TV system that much. They advertised the combat. So if you're somebody who was seeing all the ads of Zenless Zone Zero, and then you go into the game, and at the beginning you're barely even doing combat, you're stuck in the TV mode, it's gonna piss you off. It's gonna make you upset. So obviously you're already kind of off-put in that way if you're playing Wuthering Waves for the combat too. You're like, oh, Zenless Zone Zero combat also looks cool too, but you don't get to play it as much because you gotta go through the story, go through the TV system. So you're like, all right, this is kind of annoying. And then at some point they remove it, so it's great.
But let me ask you this though, with Wuthering Waves, and I can't really speak on this because I just kind of started or got into that game. I heard that the beginning of Wuthering Waves is kind of mid. It's kind of ass. People didn't really like it. And so I hear a similar story where the beginning of the game when it came out is kind of but then they built it into something much better.
Yeah.
But what was the problem with the beginning of Wuthering Waves?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to get into, is that the beginning of Wuthering Waves was not that great either. And after they took out the TVs in Zenless Zone Zero, I think it was great. I think it was going in a very good path, while Wuthering Waves, the beginning to 1.1 or 1.2 wasn't that great, but after that it started.
What was it though?
The main issue with it was the world felt like they were advertising their game as a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
And that's okay because obviously games like Nier Automata are post-apocalyptic and they're really great.
Okay.
But the issue with a game like a Gacha game being post-apocalyptic is that it's gonna be a vast world, but the world actually felt completely empty.
Okay.
There was not much to really do in the game. There was not really much content to do. There was a lot of issues with the the graphics and how the game was running. It had a lot of
optimization issues.
Optimization issues, a shit ton of them. And the story in the beginning was terrible. It was horrible. But the thing with that I will compare to Zenless Zone Zero is that the story was horrible in the beginning. Honestly, it was horrible until I think Shorekeeper came up with, I think it was 1.2 or 1.3. So the first couple paths were just really boring.
Sure.
But you could skip the story. You didn't have to play the story. And even if you didn't skip the story, a lot of the story was just you watching and then still experiencing the combat, which is what the game was advertised about.
Okay.
More in-depth combat and a better exploration experience from Genshin Impact. That's why most people played the game in the beginning of the game, or why most people who at least played Genshin played Wuthering Waves.
Got it.
For Zenless Zone Zero, I feel outside of the TV modes, I think the beginning was great. I think it was a good experience. The combat was great. It was the music is phenomenal, obviously. That was a huge issue with Wuthering Waves 2. The music in the beginning was hot. fucking garbage. It was horrible.
Yeah, so like as I said in my video, like the thing that really reeled me into Zenless was, well, see, I was indifferent about TV mode, right? But I am happy with the direction that the game ultimately went in with, you know, how you progress through the story and stuff. Cool, but art, story, animations, even like the comic panel cutscenes and stuff like that, right? Because you know, typically in gacha games, when you get to certain parts of I guess the story or anything, they'll have like transitions that are just black and text.
White text.
Yes, exactly. The classic.
That's Honkai Star Rail,
fucking classic. I'm good on that. The classic. The classic. But with Zenless, you know, we have that still, but at least like with the comic panels, it just gave something different. The art is just fucking fantastic, right? So it really felt like I was playing like a full packaged out of box game. But the only thing that, you know, you could be really pissed off about maybe is like, oh yeah, TV mode, I don't really like it, right? But I think first impressions are everything, right? Like everything. So if your game isn't like nailing it right off the bat, it's pretty difficult to try to get back some of those people who leave, because some people just don't give second chances. But the thing is that I'm happy that Zenless was able to pretty much build itself with each patch over and over and over into a better game. Because see, the thing is, right, and with this update that just happened and some of the other stuff that we're seeing,
right now?
Yeah, the update that's coming, like we had our special program. It was cool. I liked it. I'm not gonna say I'm about to like jump out of a tree and like, you know, dance and shit, but it was good enough, right?
Well, like what would you rate out of 10?
If I rate it out of 10, I'll probably give it like a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, 7 out of 10, baby. Oh, I'm being honest. Like there are some patches, and I feel like that kind of depends on who you are and what you want from a patch, right? For me, and I don't want to jump from this topic too hard, but
wait, but before you go on, I just want to know that 7 out of 10 is a meme in the community. You probably don't.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there is this one creator, so they all know about it. There was this one creator who was playing Wuthering Ways.
Yeah.
Who was playing like the last story patch that was apparently like the best story patch, but he wasn't paying attention.
So he gave it a 7 out of 10.
And he gave it a 7 out of 10. And people were like saying they're being very disrespectful. So everyone now says that everything is a 7 out of 10.
Oh shit!
There will 100% people be in this video, because it's probably gonna be a longer video.
Yeah.
Being like, I didn't watch the video, 7 out of 10.
That's fine. That's okay.
So I just want y'all to know, he actually said 7 out of 10, like unironically. He's not saying it as a meme.
Yeah, but 7 out of 10 to me is good. Like that's not bad to me. Anything above that though is when you start to really get into like, oh shit, this is fucking like crazy, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is like I give it a 7/10, yeah, but I don't really pay attention too hard, I guess, to the content at the moment that we're getting, because I feel like it's been consistently good for a while now. I care more about, okay, how are they going to make the quality of life in the game better? How are they going to streamline this and make it faster, right? And I feel like the direction that they keep going in, they're always improving the game and making it a lot more accessible to people, straight up. And I appreciate that a lot. And so that's why I brought up this question, like, why are these communities always fighting? Because to me, it's a little weird, because the games are not the same whatsoever. One's open world, one's more of like an arcade hack and slash. So like, why do people fight each other? And then you bring up the other creators, right? I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like the creators that do that, I don't give a fuck about them. They can do whatever they want to do. It doesn't affect me at all. If you like the game, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I just feel like, at least, not even just a Zenless thing, for like both sides, I feel like the most important thing you could do is keep trying to prop up the game that you love and make it look good to people on the outside that either haven't played it, have never touched the genre, or either on the fence of trying it out. And that's where I feel like more of your energy could go. But I understand that pissing people off gets clicks. But that's just not the way I want to go about it.
I 100% agree with that too. Like, if you like a game, you're supposed to like express your passion about the game.
Of course.
But in contrast, I also believe that the opposite perspective is completely, it's necessary.
Yes.
Because if you're only doing that.
Oh, hold on. Let me correct myself. I don't think that you should make just total positive content and just pretty much lie out of your ass if you're, upset at something.
Right. Because that's what the majority of creators do too.
No. You should always be honest with how you feel. I'm just talking about the whole versus between communities. Take some of that energy, put it towards your own game, and just make content for your game. That's what I'm pretty much getting at. Listen, man, I don't know if you saw, I saw Lucia before, and I see her now. I'm upset. I'm tight.
I feel it, but
Wait, you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, no, talk
Fuck, man.
about.
I'm upset. Damn it, but yeah, man.
But yeah, you should definitely like constructive criticism is extremely important in the community, especially
sure.
like that's one thing why I feel like that's Wuthering Waves is a perfect example of constructive criticism is extremely important.
Yeah.
Because the whole meme of Wuthering Waves having devs that listen is extremely true, because anything that the community talks about, they eventually get what they truly want in the game within reason.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get everything for free. Like they're not just gonna give all this stuff for free. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like for a while, the biggest thing that just happened recently it was in 2.0 they introduced the flight mechanic.
Okay.
You can start flying, mm-hmm. And the biggest ask that people were having was you can only fly in the 2.0 regions. So they want to be able to fly in the 1.0 regions.
This was someone in my chat was telling me this
exactly.
when I was streaming the game. Yeah.
In this patch, the live stream, they just finally announced that they're going to expand the flight mechanic to the 1.0 regions.
Okay.
Essentially. And it's like a major example of like if you ask for something within reason, they will try to give you what you need and what you deserve because they're actually listening to their community. That's like the biggest issue.
Yeah.
With not even Zenless Zone Zero. I think the devs actually do listen to the Zenless Zone Zero community, which is odd because it's Hoyoverse, and Hoyoverse is notorious in Genshin Impact and Honkai
This is
Star
what I've
Rail
heard also.
for not listening to the community and doing whatever the fuck they want. And from my perspective, I think I have no idea. I might just be speaking out my ass.
Sure.
Like you can fact check me in the comments or not, but I feel like there's probably like subsidiaries of the company where there's like a team that works on Genshin Impact, a team that works on Honkai Star Rail, and a team that works on Zenless Zone Zero.
It's so funny that you speak about this because I can actually probably answer this for you, given my experience, obviously. Right. So what I think is, and obviously I never worked for Hoyo, so I couldn't tell you exactly, but from my professional experience, certain games, they have different teams that oversee those games, right? And depending on just like how much the higher ups, I guess, are involved with said title, sometimes there is a potential chance that there are Genshin devs that are working on a game that they want to do certain things,
right?
But it pretty much doesn't work out, right? There might be a higher up telling them, nah, you can't do this for XYZ reason, even if it makes sense or doesn't. That might be how it goes, right? And so, in my opinion, when I look at Zenless, I feel like that team has a lot of freedom, a lot more freedom than we might give them credit for, right? And so that's why I kind of feel like, and I mean, even when I look at Zenless as a game in general, if you told me, hey man, Zenless is coming out, but you didn't tell me who made it, I would have never guessed Hoyo made that game. It doesn't look, visually doesn't look like a Hoyo game. It doesn't look like something they would try to do. And so, yeah, it is very odd because like, Honkai and Genshin kind of look alike, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just one's an RPG, one's open world, right? But again, it just boils down to just how much freedom each team has and why they might have that freedom, and the answers could be so.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is that like at the end of the day, like the majority of the decisions from company always boil down to money. At the end of the day, and
absolutely,
considering that they probably have different teams for the different games.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact is always making a shit ton of money.
Yep.
It's always at the top of the Gacha revenue charts. Honkai Star Rail is always typically top 3.
Yeah.
It's always usually number 1. It's making the most money usually. Like the last month, it made the most money. It made like $90 million in one month.
Yep.
Zenless Zone Zero from the Hoyo games, I can even lump it in with Wuthering Waves, but like Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves typically are on the lower end. In that sense, obviously they're still making a shit ton of money. Like they're still making over 10 million, like between 10 to 40 million. But
10 mil, such small amount of money, man. You know that's crazy, right?
Not that much you can do with that, right? But,
no. What I'm saying is crazy. Like that's a little bit of money.
Yeah. It's just on the lower end on the scale of what their other games make. So their perspective is like something needs to change. We need to fix something in order to make our money in this game be similar to the amount of revenue that we're making in Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail.
So then my question is, how long did it take Honkai to be successful? How long since that game came out did it take to actually, you know, mold into its own thing and make profit and make a lot of money?
I'm honestly not entirely sure. I feel like off rip it did.
Okay.
Obviously right now it's being on my ass because I got into the community like about a year ago. I think the game's been out for about 2 years.
Comment
now.
section might be able to help us out with this.
Yeah.
I guess my point with that though, what I'm trying to say is like, Genshin, it's the game, right?
Yeah.
It's like the game that cemented this kind of like format. So I'm not surprised that, especially with how long it's been, it's super successful. Not to mention, right? If you started with Genshin, you already invested so much time and money into it. That's probably a big deterrent of you like leaving it all, right?
Yeah.
Even if another game comes out where I feel like Wuthering Waves and Zenless are much better games, people play Genshin since the end of time,
but
right?
that's
pretty much. So they want to stick with it.
Yeah, that's also like the reason why I feel like the developers aren't willing to change the game either, because the people are spending so much money and they're not willing. They're like, okay, we have people spending money now here,
we gonna save this one. Because I want to talk about that.
I actually don't think that the Wuthering Waves and the Zenless Zone Zero community are actually at each other's throats. I do think both communities, not just Zenless Zone Zero, I think Wuthering Waves too, both communities have a really hard time taking constructive criticism from the other community, from anybody that's not inside of their community, like not integrated into their community. And I feel like that's a big issue because you don't have to be so deep into a game to understand how a game plays, or you don't have to like 100% the game to have an opinion on the game. And that's pretty much how communities in general are now. It's like, if you're not, that's where the term tourist comes from. If you're not integrated, doing all the content, playing all the time, you don't have a say, you should not have a say, you should not be listened to unless you're praising the game.
Sounds like the internet.
Yeah,
sounds like the internet in general.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll say in defense of the Zenless Zone Zero community, I can't say this for Wua because I'm not really that much into that community, is that outside of like content creators that are pretty much shitting on Zenless, I feel like a lot of Zenless players feel like they are on defense mode because not even just from the Wua community, just even other Hoyo games, people literally make posts where they're like, yeah, man, we're all teaming up to shit on Zenless, or like they're trying to. Like I've seen it, bro. I've actually seen. I think I added one of those tweets in one of my videos, or my editor did, and it's just like I feel like the Zenless community gets poked at a lot, and even in my experience outside of creators, again, I've seen posts where people are from other communities shitting on Zenless or the Zenless community, and so I don't want to say like, oh yeah, like they're just getting bullied and they're defenseless, right? But I can understand where the attitude comes from, where, you know, we're unified and we have to take on all of these other communities because shitting on Zenless gets clicks or it gets tension, right? But at the end of the day, still as a creator for that game now, that won't be my approach going forward when it comes to like even talking about other games. Because dog, I have a lot of problems with Genshin, right? And people will hear that one sentence and be like, fuck this guy.
Yep.
But to me, it's just like, I'm gonna still talk about what I want to talk about, and I'm not gonna come at Genshin's neck like as a hater. I'm just gonna come at it as someone
you're giving constructive criticism. You're saying what you feel about the game.
To a degree. I think some constructive criticism is exactly that, and others
are rage baiting.
Mask it, and they're rage baiting, or they're just actually being toxic pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And for people like that, like I see those channels, and I don't even get mad. I just think they're miserable. So I don't watch or even care to interact with or listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
But if someone like especially someone that wants to like the game, let's say makes a video about Zenless Zone Zero, and they're bringing up not only fair points, but you can tell when someone's being really genuine about someone and not actually trying to piss you off but have a conversation, I'm way more willing to hear someone out like that, and whether I disagree with them or agree with them. Because I feel like listening to people you disagree with is just as important as listening to people you agree with. But that kind of feels like a lost art in a sense, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching this video. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys enjoy these conversations between Cosmos and I, be sure to let us know in the comment section below, and of course subscribe and like the video. And yeah, I mean, make sure you subscribe to him too. Yep. Show support to Cosmos as well, because
I got my own channel.
Yeah, if these do well, we'll do more of them. So thank you guys again. Take it easy.
See ya.
See ya.